Yes, good day everyone. My name is Justin, and today I'll be walking you all through this webinar and demo Meet Copilot Chat. So for today's webinar, we're stepping away from the paid Microsoft 365 Copilot that everyone is talking about, and we're taking a look at the free Copilot Chat. As Daniel mentioned, a lot of organizations are still planning their AI adoption, deciding how they want to introduce paid AI if it's necessary, etc. So our focus today is to show and inform you all of what you already have access to for free. So as it says right off the bat, Copilot Chat is free with your Microsoft Business account. So if you're licensed with, be it Business Basic, Business Standard, Apps for Business, etc., enterprise licenses, you automatically have access to these features unless your organization has blocked or limited them. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our demonstration, our webinar for today. So the session is focused on Copilot Chat, Microsoft's free and secure way to start using AI. It's designed to be immediately useful, very simple to access, and easy to interact with, right? It requires no special setup or any background knowledge on how AI and models and all of those stuff work. You ask questions or what we call prompts in natural language, and Copilot responds using the same simple natural language in a way that fits seamlessly into your everyday work. So at a high level, Copilot Chat brings together these three key elements: the chat, agents, and IT controls. Together, they define how Microsoft is making AI accessible while still keeping it governed and secure. So let's go ahead and break each of these down individually and look at what they mean in practice. So at its core is chat. This is the natural language interface that your users interact with. You can ask questions, request summaries, or draft content, just brainstorming ideas. Copilot processes your requests and responds using web-grounded knowledge. It can also work directly with uploaded content, so your documents, your files, your PDFs that you upload directly into the chat. That means you can ask Copilot to summarize a file, pull out key points, or answer questions based only on what you've shared with it. Built into that same experience, as you'll see in the demo, are agents. So agents extend what the chat can do by focusing on specific tasks or scenarios. They might specify how Copilot responds or follow very detailed instructions tailored to some specific business process that you might have. So with the free Copilot Chat, your users can take advantage of some of the built-in agents and also create simple task-focused agents of their own. So it allows your users to get custom agent value without going through the full development process or needing a Copilot license. And surrounding all of this are the IT controls. So even though Copilot Chat is free, it still operates within Microsoft's enterprise standards for your privacy and governance. That means Copilot respects all of your security and your governance policies and configurations that your organization already has in place. So it allows you to enable AI use confidently, knowing that the guardrails are already in place from day one. So really briefly, I just want to sort of set the expectations and clarify the difference between Copilot Chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot, because the names are very similar, but the experiences can be very different. So Copilot Chat is the free experience. It provides that web-grounded AI chat and basic access to the agents. It can reason over the files that you've uploaded or that you're currently working on. The users get standard access to the GPT 5.2 model. Sometimes the model changes depending on the work you're doing. Your prompts and your responses stay fully within Microsoft 365's service boundary, so within your tenant. That means your files, those prompts and responses are not being used to tune or train any of Microsoft's models. You do also have some access to visual content creation, which we will see later in our short demo as well. The Microsoft 365 Copilot, on the other hand, is a licensed product. So it connects directly to your organization's Microsoft 365 data. That data also stays fully within that Microsoft service boundary. But this version of Copilot, it's deeply integrated across the Office apps, and it goes beyond the basic chat capabilities. So with the license, you could automatically capture meeting notes and action items in real time. You can generate those full presentations or documents, analyze and transform data automatically, etc. But for today's webinar, we're focused on Copilot Chat. Right, now we're going to talk a bit about where Copilot Chat shows up and how easy it is to access. So Copilot Chat isn't tied to a single app or device. It's available through the web by browsing to Copilot. It's also built into Microsoft Edge, the browser, and Windows. So your users can reach it wherever they're already working. You'll also notice that Copilot Chat fits alongside the very familiar Microsoft 365 apps. In Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, it can help you think, draft, or refine the content while you're actively working on that file. This integration lowers the barrier to entry, and it makes Copilot feel like a natural extension of your everyday tasks. Because Copilot Chat is available across desktop, web, and the mobile experiences, a key differentiator in maximizing its use is how you ask it for help. So the quality of the Copilot output depends less on where you're accessing it from and more on how clearly you're communicating your intentions. So that brings us to our final slide, where we will look at the art and the science of prompting. So to get the most out of our Copilot interactions, it's important that we understand and implement these key ingredients in our prompts. We'll start with the goal. So here, you want to be clear about what you want Copilot to produce. That could be a summary, a draft, or a list of ideas. This helps set the direction for the response. So in our example here, we specified we want 3 to 5 bullet points. Next, you want to add some context. So you want to explain why you need it and who it's for. Even the slightest context could significantly improve the quality of the output Copilot gives. In our little scenario here, it's for a phase of a brand campaign. Next, we want to call out the sources that Copilot should be using if it matters, if it's relevant. In the free Copilot Chat, this will be the files that you upload. This example here, it references emails and team chats, which Copilot will pull specifically from the client that we defined previously. This is a premium Microsoft Copilot feature here, where that natural language alone, those 2 sentences, directs Copilot to seek out those files without us needing to upload it or specifically reference it. And finally, we need to set expectations. So tell Copilot how you want the response to look, whether it should be short or detailed, bullet points or paragraphs. Also, you want to tell Copilot what you would like to exclude from its response. In our case here, we want to use simple language. So you don't need to overthink prompting. The order is not very critical. You don't need to, follow this strict formula, but what matters most is making sure Copilot has these ingredients, the correct ingredients to work with. So with that short overview, introduction of Copilot, I'm going to hop into the demonstration side of things now. All right, so here I'm in Google, I'm in Chrome. There's a few ways to get to Copilot. There's a shortcut here, which is probably the quickest way to navigate to it, but I'm going to go ahead and manually type or search for it. And we're going to go to copilot.microsoft.com. There's a few different URLs that all lead to the same experience, the same page. I'm going to go ahead and use my work account. Now, again, this account just has a business basic license assigned to it, no Copilot license. At the bottom here, I can actually see Copilot Chat Basic, so I'm aware of the version of Copilot that I'm using. Now, this is the interface, very similar to what you may have been already interacting with, or you see when you go to ChatGPT or Gemini. You enter your prompt. Here is where you can upload your files. Tools include things like agents, and there's some prompts that are already showing up for you to automatically use. Now, on the side pane here, I can see my agents, my past chats. For the demonstration, however, I'm going to show how Copilot integrates with some of the existing Office apps. I'm going to go into apps and I'll hop into Outlook first. I'll also just pull up my OneDrive so you can see some of the files that I'll be referencing throughout this demonstration. So here, starting with Outlook, I see I have one email in my inbox, here. So I'll go ahead and read it. Now, in this case here, I am the HR person and Justin is just an employee in the organization. So I can see that I shared some policies with Justin. I told him to review these updated policies and acknowledge them. Justin, the employee here, responded. He said, before he acknowledges them formally, he has some questions about the policies. So I know roughly how to answer these policies. I know what's included in the documents, but in terms of structuring out the response, keeping the right tone, etc., I'm going to use Copilot to help me get that first draft done. So as you've seen a lot of the experiences up in the top right corner, we have that little Copilot icon. Sometimes it just says Copilot. I'm going to click it and pull up the Copilot experience within Outlook itself. Okay. So the experience is up. Just give it a second to load. Now, because this is free Copilot, even though the documents are here within the email, I still need to attach them or reference them in the chat to Copilot so aware of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my cloud files. And now within my OneDrive, I can see the policies, some presentations, some Excel documents. So these are in my OneDrive, so I have the ability to access them. So I'm going to go into my favorites because this is where the policies are. I'm going to pull up the policies that Justin, the employee, is referencing. Not sure where that prompt came from. Now, Copilot, even though the email is right next to it, it isn't fully aware of the exact questions that the employee is asking. So I'm going to have to copy the instructions, copy the questions that Justin is having, and paste them into the Copilot chat. So here's an employee email. They're asking some questions. These are the relevant documents here. We want to use those attached documents to provide a response to address each of their concerns. So I'm going to enter that prompt, reference any documents, and give Copilot some time to get that first draft up for us. Okay, nice. So it's answering the first question. The other three questions as well. Sorry. I can just copy, paste this directly into the reply, or at the bottom of the response, there's an option. If I go into more options called Edit in Pages. So I'm going to open Edit in Pages and see how this experience looks. So it's actually using that same output, that response that Copilot gave, but in a more structured way in what they call Copilot pages. So this exact same response that Copilot gave me, 1, 2, 3, 4, it now shows up here. And I'm able to convert this into a Word document or PDF directly from this view. Now, I'm just going to copy it because I do want to respond within Outlook. I don't want to create any documents, but if I wanted to, I can turn Copilot's response directly into a new document. So I'm going to copy most of the response here. I'll leave out the signature because I probably have my own. And we're going to go back to the mail and we're going to reply. So I'm going to hit the reply all and drop Copilot's output here. Now, it does need some formatting. It does need to be reviewed properly. But instead of me having to manually type out all the information that I already know, I can get Copilot to do it for me and save me some time. So it will require some simple formatting. If I have my custom signature that I want to put in, maybe change the font, the format, etc. Here's where I would do that. And I can go ahead and send out this email, copy the relevant persons if I need to, and respond to the employee pretty quickly, pretty short. So that's just an example of Copilot within Outlook. I'm now going to go ahead and jump into another experience. We're going to show Copilot in PowerPoint. So again, I can choose to go through my apps in this Copilot experience, open up PowerPoint, or if I wanted to within Outlook as well, I can click here and get all of the different Microsoft services that I have access to. And I'm going to go ahead and close out the Outlook now. So email was sent and we're in PowerPoint. I'm going to start blank PowerPoint here, blank presentation. And let's see what the Copilot experience looks like within here. All right, so blank presentation. Again, if I navigate to that top right corner, I see Copilot is there waiting for me. So I'm going to pull it out. Now, because this is free Copilot, it can't automatically create presentations and slides for you, but it can give you the outline. It can tell you what each slide should look like, how many slides you should have, what the content on each one should be. So for this case, I'm going to reference some BI or some business intelligence documents that I have. These 3 documents in particular are about a project that the company is going through to upgrade their IT infrastructure. So again, I'm going to attach those documents. It's going to pull up my OneDrive. If it was stored locally, I can also put them into OneDrive to reference it. Just going to select the 3 documents that I want Copilot to use from. I see they've been attached, and I'm going to put in my prompt. A pretty short prompt, and we'll read through the prompt as I put it in. So using the attached BI project documents, create a clear outline for a client-facing presentation that explains the project goals, scope, risks, and next steps. So we can see the ingredients of the prompt here. We are telling Copilot what the goal is, a clear outline. We're also giving it context, so client-facing presentation. We wanted to explain these particular points, and we're referencing our sources, the attached BI project documents. So given Copilot this prompt, letting it process, it will not create slides for me, but it will give me that outline, slide per slide, of what each slide should have. So I'm seeing my title slide, my cover page, summation of a summary, project goals. I can also see where it's pulling some of the information from, the exact document that it's referencing. So right here, it's telling me 4.5. So if I wanted, a particular number of slides, I could put that into my prompt as well. I see it gave me 9, including a Q&A. I'm going to ask Copilot now, maybe just add a short section. We want to look at some of the key security considerations regarding this project, regarding this presentation. So it gave me this point here. Again, I can choose where I want to input this into my document, but I can use this as a foundation, as a base to build my presentation. I have an idea now what my title slide should include, the format, the flow of the overall presentation. And again, this is just using 1-2 prompts really. I can go through, I can refine it, I can tune it the way I would like it to. Now, this is one of the experiences where you may, or most likely would like to use images. So I'm actually going to try to get Copilot now to create an image for me. So the way you prompt Copilot to create an image is very important. If it's vague or it's not very specific, it may just give you a prompt in text and not generate an image. So the first thing I'm saying is to create a simple image. So we're upgrading our legacy networking infrastructure to newer cloud technologies. Now, image creation within Copilot does take a bit longer than prompts and responses using text. So let's just enter the prompt and see if Copilot will begin to create that image. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so the image generation process has started. Let's see if it's going to put it together quickly or if we should probably revisit it. Just loading. We'll leave it to load for now. It's working, it's thinking through what it needs to. Another experience that I want to cover and show you all a bit what Copilot can do is within Excel. So moving into data side of things a bit. All right, I'm actually going to pull out this Excel document that I have here. There's some data already filled into it. Okay. So there's some information here. So last year's sales. I can see each month the sales on the different versions of Chai. Also, there's some social media engagement here, online searches for Chai as well. So similar to what we saw in PowerPoint, similar to what we saw in Outlook. Go to that top right-ish general area of the sheet or the service that you're in, and you'll see Copilot there again. Once you click it, it pulls out pretty much the same interface that we've been seeing. So it's integrated. It's very similar the way that all the experiences look. And we're going to analyze this sheet together. So I'm in my document here. Copilot should recognize the document that I'm in because I'm working natively within it. And I'm going to ask it to summarize this document into 5 key takeaways suitable for leadership. So again, I'm giving it context. I'm being very specific in my goal. I want 5 key takeaways using, well, the attached document. It's the document that we're in. So let's see if I remove attached, if it's going to give me the insight and recognize that it's working within this document. Okay, so it managed to analyze the data pretty quickly. It gave me the 5 key insights. So we ended the year pretty strong. I can see December has some higher numbers compared to the previous months before it. I can see the specific version of Chai is the growth driver, digital engagement. I can see the 5 insights I wanted Copilot to give to me. So this is the same output that you would get if you were interacting with Copilot Chat, this interface. Once I attached that same document, see if I can go ahead and pull it up. And I give it the same prompt. So summarize it, 5 key takeaways. I should get a very similar output to what I get within Excel itself. So very similar, we see strong year-end sales momentum. So it's a bit tweaked in the language that it's using, but it seems to be the same 5 key takeaways. So you can use it within the app itself, or you can go to the general Copilot Chat attach the files that you want Copilot to reference, and use very similar prompts to get the same responses. So let's just go back to our PowerPoint, see if, okay, so our image was created. We did ask for a simple image, so it isn't showing too much. There's some router, some switch here, go into migrate to cloud technologies. Directly from here, I can copy the image. I can choose to put it into my presentation. If I wanted a different image or I wanted it tuned or tweaked a bit, I can also have that done. But just from simple prompt, create an image, Copilot is able to generate that picture. I can put in to my presentations. So you don't need to go to a different AI to create the image. You can do it directly within PowerPoint itself. So we see what Copilot is able to do in terms of helping you prepare a PowerPoint. Also, how it's able to analyze some of your data in Excel. I do want to spend a little bit of time now on the agents part of Copilot. So up on the top left here, I'm going to pull out the tabs, and I see there's agents. There seem to be 2 agents here already. There's some agents that you're able to access using free Copilot. So if I look at what's built by Microsoft, there's a bunch of them. Some of these agents, if I try to install it or download it, I can see I need that 365 Copilot license. But there are some other agents like the coaches, for example, that are free and I'm able to access. So I just need to add it, click add, and it loads up here. I have access to this built-in agent. From here, now you should read what the agent is designed to do, so you have an idea of how to use it. You can also, as I mentioned earlier in the demo, you can create your own agents using your free license. So if I go into new agent, this is the experience where you're able to build and create custom configure your agents. So let's give it a second to load. I'll walk you all through the process. Okay, so this is the more complex agent building experience. I give it a name, a description. I need to be very specific on the instructions that I give the agent. Also, if I wanted to access certain sites or files to pull information from, I can do that. If I want to choose whether it's able to create documents, charts, and code, I can turn that on and off, as well as images. And I have the option to create prompts that I know I might use very frequently. Now, this is the configure side of building an agent. You can also use the describe tab, which is way more simple. You just need to enter a few words on what you want the agent to do, what you want the agent to be able to respond to, and it will pull out the configure section for you. So for this little example, I'm going to use a very simple prompt. Again, you want to be more descriptive than I'm being here. You want to tell the agent what it should and should not pull from, and be very specific on the tone, the formality. Maybe you want to adapt the agent to your work culture, etc. You want to specify all of that here. But for this demonstration, we're going to create an agent that identifies any potential risk or breach of the HIPAA or the GDPR policies. So, maybe I'm working with HR, I'm in the US or some area we have regulatory bodies that we need to adhere to. I just want this agent to be able to quickly identify if a policy I create or any document I make aligns or breaches any of these frameworks. So I'm putting that simple prompt into Copilot, and it creates the agent. Now, if I go to the configure tab now, which we didn't enter any information to, it was previously blank, I can see a lot of information has been put in here. So it gave the AI agent a name, it gave it a quick description, and a lot of instructions. Now within here, I can go ahead and I can type multiple things. If I wanted to tune it or tweak it, I wanted to add a certain instruction or remove something, I can. Maybe I don't want it to summarize the review, I can delete that. You can tune and tweak from within here as well. So just from that simple prompt that we gave it, it was able to create the agent, give it a description, give it instructions. If I wanted to, I can still manually add data sources. It also gave me 4 suggested prompts. If I don't want these prompts, so I can choose to delete them. And while I deleted it on this side, I'm able to see what that reflection looks like on the agent itself. So I'm going to leave it with a simple prompt that I gave it. I'm going to actually go ahead and create or publish this agent. Again, this is all using your free license. I can also choose if I want to share it. If I want to share it with my colleagues, my team, the entire organization, I can. I'm going to keep it private for now and just go to the agent, see what I built. So it was created by me, and I can see those 3 prompts that I'm able to just click on and easily use. So we can sort of test it out a bit. Let's upload one of our policies that we've created and see how the agent works. Okay, let's see which policy here. So there's a health and privacy policy that's already here. I just want to say review this policy. Let's see what Copilot or the compliance risk detector agent is able to pull out, if anything, from it. So again, without me needing to say review this policy with respect to HIPAA or with respect to the GDPR, it already knows, it has the context because it was created with those instructions. So it's well structured, it broadly aligns with standard privacy expectations. There's one major inconsistency that appears in the frequently asked questions section that contradicts the confidentiality statement. So, if I'm an HR manager, maybe I have a lot of new policies I'm being created, I want to use Copilot as sort of that first checker to see if the policies I'm making make sense, if there's any issues. Again, this is not the final, Copilot shouldn't have the final say, it should review what it says, but it gives you a good idea of what you should be looking at. So I see the issue here. The policy states that the company does not share employee health information with unauthorized parties. That seems fine. But later it says that HR shares the information with any individuals or entities who request it online. Now, that is an issue that conflicts with GDPR, that's unlawful sharing. If it's applicable with HIPAA, it could also contradict that. So knowing that, again, my policy is in conflict, I could have attached maybe 5, 6 different documents. Now I can go in OneDrive, I can open up my Word document, and I can see what issue Copilot has identified. So it said the frequently asked questions section. Who can share my health information with, or who can HR share my health information with? It shares it with any individuals or entities. So this is an issue. I would want to highlight this, bring it up with, maybe the owner, the creator of the document, because this is something that needs to change. So Copilot, using this simple agent that I built, was able to identify that breach, that risk within the document. Also, if I wanted to, sorry, let me see if it's letting me here. Okay, so it's not letting me here, but I could also access these agents within the interface itself, the Word document itself. Let me see if it shows up in PowerPoint. Just to show you all that stuff you build is available in different experiences. It's taking a while to load. Just open up Copilot on the side. Okay, so the agent experience isn't loading yet, but in most of the interfaces, you are also able to use the agents within the service itself. So within PowerPoint or Outlook, sometimes you can open the agent, but for this case, we're going to stick with it in the Copilot view. So this was just an overview of Copilot in Word, Copilot in Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and even just the Copilot interface itself. Now, if you do decide you no longer want to have this agent, you want to delete it, you can. If in using your agents, you realize you want to tweak it or you want to tune it a bit, you can click edit and it will bring up that similar interface that we've been dealing with before. So if I'm noticing my agent is the responses are too wordy or there aren't enough details involved, I want to add a new guideline or a new framework, I can add it in here in the description. I can add it into the instructions, or I can use natural language and change or tune how I want to update my agent. I can also test it on the side here without publishing it. I can make changes, see how the agent responds, and then decide if I want to update or discard those changes. So for free, you have access to Copilot across all of those different experiences, and you have free access to these agents, as well as the ability to create your own custom agent. So I just wanted to give you all that walkthrough. Also, again, Copilot does respect the boundaries of the organization that you all have in place. So if I was to receive, a link to a document that maybe I shouldn't have access to, Copilot will respect that boundary. For example, this is just a link to someone else's SharePoint or OneDrive. If I ask Copilot to, process this file, see what's within it, it should identify that, this user who's using Copilot here doesn't have access to the document, and Copilot will not be able to process it. So this was some Q3 sales performance. Maybe I saw the link in a chat. I'm interested. I want to see what Q3 sales looks like. I still don't have access to that Word document itself. So even if I try uploading it to Copilot, I'm like, hey, what's within here? Because my account doesn't have permission to access it, Copilot also doesn't have permission to process it. So that is it for the demonstration. I hope you all were able to learn something. If you're already using Copilot, maybe you found a new skill or a new way of introducing Copilot into your workflow. Daniil, once you're here, feel free to pass it back on to you.